Dear Feminists, I'm absolutely certain that many feminists are aware that multiple interpretations of feminist and feminist theory exist, as evidenced by the frequent cries of, "Not all feminists are like that," or "That's not a real feminist," when particularly egregious or extreme feminist positions are brought up. Unfortunately, regardless of whether or not a particularly extreme feminist has opinions that match your own, they've exercised their agency and declared themselves one. The multiple branches of feminism are bound together by the ideological definition that they all claim to share, which is the advocacy for the political, legal, economic, and social equality of women to men, or something very similar. There are slight variations in definition, depending on which dictionary you're referring to, but they all mean the same thing. Women can and should be equal to men. This does include people like Andrea Dworkin, Valerie Solanas, Catherine McKinnon, Clementine Ford, Robin Morgan et al. That said, it should be obvious that there are multiple branches of non-feminism, including the men's rights movement, egalitarians, humanists, non-feminists, anti-feminists, men going their own way, also known as MGTOW, and pickup artists, also known as PUAs. Now, if you're going to argue that the feminists I mentioned aren't really feminists, even though they label themselves as such, and all branches of feminism share a common ideological definition, then you should be willing to accept that it's not reasonable to conflate groups that have no particular ideological or advocacy overlap. At least feminists, regardless of branch, all claim to be rooted in the same definition and subscribe to many of the same theories. MGTOWs and PUAs don't actually engage in any forms of advocacy, and don't share the definition with egalitarians, MRAs, or humanists. In fact, PUAs like Roosh V have explicitly denied any association with the MRM. I'm sure a large number of people think he's a creepy, manipulative douche nozzle, but he's definitely not an MRA. Most of the MGTOWs I've come across have no interest in anything beyond attempting to avoid any situation in which they could be legally or financially compromised by any of the number of biased legal and social conventions. Frankly, it's intellectually lazy and particularly dishonest to conflate non-feminist groups that don't share any form of ideological definition or advocacy goals. It becomes blatantly hypocritical to conflate those groups when feminists demand that non-feminists accept the intramural divisions between the various groups of feminism, which all do share ideological definitions and certainly have overlap in their advocacy goals. Do you have questions, concerns, comments, or inexplicable hatred? Use the comment section below or find me on Facebook and Twitter. Or don't, you're welcome to disagree. I'm here for my validation and not yours.